Thank you for having me, Winnipeg. I am very excited to be here. I am a church pastor, and now I can see that some of you are no longer excited to be here. I get why, though. I mean, there was a survey done in the U.S. recently that said 46% of Americans agreed with the statement, "Christians get on my nerves." And all I could think when I heard that was the other 54% did not go to my Bible college. It would have been much higher. So I'm a pastor. I get to preach and teach the Bible, which I love. I have a degree in biblical studies. I get that to some of you that sounds like I just said I have a degree in Dungeons and Dragons. But it's an ancient book, so there's some things that are difficult to reconcile with our contemporary world. And I'm not talking about the big ones like creation and resurrection. Those are true. But there's some other things as well. There's an ancient law in the book of Deuteronomy. It's Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 11 and 12. That says that if two men are involved in conflict, and the wife of one tries to help her husband by seizing the other man by the mebusim is the word in Hebrew, by the testicles, show her no mercy, cut off her hand. Which is reasonable, I guess. But what was going on in the ancient world that they had to make that a law? Like, was that some sort of move that they taught at ancient Hebrew finishing school? Like, okay, ladies, here's how you make unleavened bread, and if your husband's in a conflict, grab and twist. I get to do weddings, which are great. Weddings are kind of disappointing because I've yet to be able to convince a bride to come down the aisle to Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions. So I love weddings, but I get to do pastoral counseling and marriage counseling, and people often expect me to have some sort of wisdom about marriage, and I really don't. Like, really long-term relationships become more about endurance than technique at a certain point in time. But I do have this small piece of advice, and that is this: do not argue via text message. And I might not be emotionally equipped to handle texting, because my wife will occasionally text me something perfectly normal, like, "Where are you?" But when I read "Where are you?", what I hear in my head is, "Where are you?" I'm not good at texting. I think it might be genetic because my mom is also not good at texting. I recently texted my mom and asked her the very simple question, "Are you guys going to Ontario for Christmas this year?" This is the response I received. "The geothermal heat pump was to be put in last week. Still waiting. It's supposed to be put in tomorrow, but even if it is, we need to be here to make sure that it works, however long that is. We're in the middle of a big storm until at least midnight and then lighter snow tomorrow. We're planning on going to Ontario, but don't know when. The weather is calling for snow all across from Ontario to here until Monday. Renee usually has an open house December 24th, but I haven't heard about it from her." I have no idea who Renee is. Whether she's doing it this year, I would really like to be there for that, to see everyone at once. Christmas Eve was Jerry and Marty's anniversary, so Renee did this for years. Jerry is dating now, so she may not be having it. I hate to ask in case they think that we're looking for an invite. Rod said that we could just drain the water pipes and leave the house without heat, which is what we may end up doing, but the weather is also an issue. I didn't think that we would be here, so I didn't put up a tree this year. There's more. I decorated a little outdoors tree that didn't get out on the deck that was supposed to be built off the dining room. It was supposed to be done long before now, but had to wait until the siding was done. So the long answer is that we would like to go somewhere, but we may end up right here. Rod was watching the weather today, and he's suggesting we leave right after the heat guy finishes and go through the states. However, I think the weather covers a large area, including where we would go through the states, so everything is up in the air. We will try to stay safe. That was a 600-word text message from my mother. 600 words. And I don't know if you noticed, what I noticed right away, she didn't answer the question. I have no idea what she's doing for Christmas. If you get a text message question, you answer quickly and in as few words as possible. Are you guys going to Ontario for Christmas? Don't know whether. Thank you very much. My name's Dan Taylor. Have a good night.